Okay, we are live on StreamYards. Just waiting for the inevitable 20-second delay so I can do the audio check. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Friday Fandemonium. Audio check is good. I have my regular guest, Jacob Ironside, this week. I have one unboxing. I have a post office nightmare story and a couple articles. I'll talk more about the. I don't know if you're a Lord of the Rings fan or if you're following the Rings of Prime controversy, Jacob. But
yeah, a little bit with the.
Yeah, so we'll probably go over the trailer a bit again. I did my live reaction a week, like 3 days ago when it dropped, and it was kind of a ranty thing. You know what I mean? So maybe in this, if I do we can play and do 10 minutes of just talking about it, and me going at the screen like, yeah. So that's that. Let's see. Well, let's just get right into it. I have one unboxing. I'll start with the story of what should have been two unboxings. So the biggest nightmare in the world, people, is when you order something, whether it's from Amazon or from your comic book store or whatever you order it from, right? And you go in to check the tracking. You see in the tracking, like let's say you pick FedEx or DHL or whatever, it goes, hand it off to USPS. Because as soon as you see that in the tracking, you might as well forget it. You don't know when you're going to get the damn thing. I remember 4 or 5 years ago, I ordered medication, something that could actually go bad, and Amazon passed it off to USPS, and it disappeared into the postal system for 3 months. It was so bad that postal couldn't even find it that eventually I got refunded, and a doctor issued a new prescription for me through my online pharmacy, which is Amazon, So, and another time, a pair of pants of mine got stuck in Brooklyn for like 2 months, and I called the post of Brooklyn. I know it's sitting there. And how do you know? Well, I said, one of my relatives works for the post office. He can see your internal system. The package is there. Could you please just shove it into the next mail van? And they said, no, we can't. We have to wait till the computer says to move it on. And I was like, oh God,
Yes.
So I ordered
computer
from Ron.
Run everything.
Yeah. Well, given that plus the general low intelligence of the postal employee union people, I don't want to slam unions. I mean, my mom was a postal worker for decades. So was my stepfather and all that. But union, especially public sector service unions, they make it really easy to be a dumbass employee. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Yeah. So in any case, that's I have a comic shipment from Ron's Comic Closet, which was shipped on May 5th, got to the postal USPS from FedEx handoff on May 5th, later that day, and had FedEx done the whole shipment, it would have been there 2 days later, right? So I'm waiting for that.
Right.
So the one unboxing I do have is this. So what I tend to do now is I read one fiction and one nonfiction book ongoing at the same time. Like right now, I'm reading the full version. Before he died, Christopher Tolkien put out completed work, so to speak, of for several of the things that his father had. From the Silmarillion, his father had wanted to do more complete solo editions of. I guess the way to put it. So I'm reading A Baron and Luthien as my fiction. And my nonfiction, I'm reading about the Rwandan genocide, right? So, and Jacob, last week we talked about the books like the Sergeant York and The Great Escape. That's on my nonfiction pile as well. So I got a nonfiction here. This is from Stephen Meyer. He's a geophysicist who became a PhD in the philosophy of science, and he's an advocate of what's called intelligent design, right? And not a creationist per se, but like someone who says physics is real, but there's a primal cause who is God, right? So he goes over several ideas in science that indicate the chance that there could in fact be a designer, and that's what this particular thing is about, So, and one of them is the interesting thing he raises, which I've heard full on. I mean, he's a full on geophysicist, so he has legitimate scientific credentials, right? So, I've heard other scientists raise this point that we might have talked about this, but in order for order to exist, right? So the universe is set by rules of order. Cause has to precede effect. So order must precede order. So if the universe had a time and space zero, where did the order that organized it come from, right? So that's that's one of the hypotheses that's explored in here, like how that potentially God is that primordial order. I don't know if it's in here or not, but there's another one which some physicists noticed the coincidence that there are these things called the fundamental constants of the universe, like the gravitational constant and Avogadro's number and all sorts of stuff like that. And the permittivity of free space is a lesser known one that people in physics know of. And there's like 20 or 25 of these things. And they all just happen to be at the exact value for a perfect universe like the one we're in to be in. Or like if one of these numbers is even off by 0.0000, 50 more zeros and a 1, off by just that much, the universe would have never expanded. If another one is off by that amount, then complex organic life could not have arisen. You know what I mean? And all of these constants just happen to be the exact right value. Wink, wink. He noticed that. He brought that up, and so I'm not saying that's proof of intelligent design, but I always said if God does exist, I would think of God as an engineer. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of fascinated by those sort of ideas, that type of thing. So that's what this book is about. And it's by Rick C. Meyer. He's been on Piers Morgan and Alex and Joe Rogan's show several times. This is Return of the God Hypothesis. Okay. Yep. That's that. Let's see, 307.
And this one always gets me is Earth is in the exact spot, close enough to the sun and not too far away from the sun to have life on it. Mm-hmm. Like if it was too far, it'd be too cold or too hot.
Well, that's a function of those constants too. Like that made everything just lay out the way it happened, way out. There's a lot of stuff in science that I'm not saying definitely prove intelligent design, but need to be thought about of why it's the case it is. And there's this big thing. I was on another show I do where you're called The Questioners, and we get we're all like Lord of the Rings and like heavy lore fans from the franchises of Wheel of Time and all that. And we're all like very mentally I guess you would call me an amateur scientist, amateur engineer. I work in IT. We have a physics student, a Bible student, a religious scholar who's in training for a PhD in theology, and we just analyze sorts of stuff. And we're talking about how do I put it? I lost my train of thought. I just it's so complicated. I try to explain what the question is. I just lost my train of thought. It's crazy. Anyway, the point is, we were talking about some topics like that too, that these. Oh, here. So a lot of scientists try to explain things like that, like why all these coincidences exist by making up scientific hypotheses, and then saying, well, this explains it. And it grows over the fact that it's just a hypothesis that's not proven. You know what I mean?
Right.
They'll come up with string theory to explain, well, in string theory, there could be 8 to 85 billion universes. We're just randomly in this one. Yeah, but your string theory isn't proven. It's just a mathematical model that could work. You know what I mean? So.
Right.
Yeah.
And, I am a Christian. I believe in God. But, oh, darn it. I lost my train of thought there.
No, but I think I got what you're saying. So, yeah, I get what you're trying to say is, yeah.
But there's evidence that there may be a creator, but where's the evidence of the explosion? I mean, sure, people can find, but where's proof of it? Where, the Big Bang and all that.
I believe. It'd be way off topic. That would be the whole show if we're just talking about the Big Bang, right? But
right.
I know, I don't believe, having studied some science over the years, that there is ample evidence that proves, to the best of human knowledge, that some sort of primordial explosion occurred, that 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 was a cause for everything, so to speak. You can find the background relation of it. You can see the ramifications of it and how everything is moving away from a central point in existence, including the universe itself. And there's a lot of stuff out there for that, right? But as Myra points out, and others, that cause has to come from someplace, right? So that's what and it's those
Right.
things which science can't
It's like
explain.
who lit the match.
Yeah, yeah, because by definition, the universe is a self-contained thing, right? And the observational
Right.
tools that we have for it don't work out. The universe, by definition, is everything that exists, right? So, all of our observational
Right.
tools are functions of the universe. So we cannot use them to explain something that doesn't exist. It's outside the universe, right? It's separate from the universe. So if there were another universe, for
Right.
example, we would have no way of comprehending it because our observational tools are of this universe. You know what I mean? Now, what we do have
Yeah.
is rational thought. Now, so we can think about what that might be, whether it's science fiction thought or science thought or whatever, or religious thought. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what you gotta not hope for, but that's kind of where the search for God is in reality. You know what I'm saying? Like in the thought about what this might mean, and I mean, who knows? We all might die and find out that the Hindus are right. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's the point. It's a mystery. We can't really know it until we experience it, right? So, or lack of experience of it, depending on the other way. If they say nothing happened, you just cease to exist. But it is in our nature to think, and it is worthy to think about at the very least.
Yeah.
And then let's see what else. So let's do the Rings of Prime trailer. Get the. Now I found out, Jacob. I think we've talked
Here
about
we
this.
go. Here we go.
Yeah, that if you go to watch it on Twitter, that like if you get the trailer through Twitter, so to speak, that
Yeah, I've heard that.
YouTube
You
doesn't
can
notice
watch
it.
it on there.
Rings
Yeah.
of Power. I have to not type in Rings of Prime because I do that. And,
It just looks like a parody.
yeah.
It looks like a parody.
Oh God. Let me share
Especially
this
the
tab.
guy that. Oh, look! It's Sauron. How do you know? He just has a wig on. I mean,
Yeah.
they could have at least gotten a different actor.
Yeah.
It's it's the same guy. Come on, stupid.
It's okay. So okay. This is not the trailer. Obviously, it is a meme from Neurotic. Did you see it?
Yeah, right there you go.
Yeah. Let me see if I could find the trailer. Is this that's the Hobbit trailer? Ring of Prime. All the memes for it are what's coming up. It's like crazy.
And the rings are made, right? I mean, aren't they made?
Well, I'll get into that.
I didn't watch. I maybe watched 20 minutes of the first episode.
I'll dive into that. Let's just get a look at the trailer, so we know, have a reference for what they're claiming. Rings of Power Season 2 trailer. Well, did they take it off of Twitter? Was it that badly ratioed? Oh God! Here, is this it? No, that's an image.
Oh.
Wait.
Need to find the
Oh, here we
meme I
go.
made for this.
Yeah. I hope this is it and not a. Is it playing? Yeah.
Ancient and powerful.
Could you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Prepare yourselves.
That was Venom, wasn't it?
Well, there's a lot to pull apart in this, so I'm not. But let's let it play, and then I'll point out something, and I'll explain to you the ring lore that they're fucking with here.
Yeah.
I think he has been here. I think he's been here among us all along.
Only now they notice.
Every soul in Middle-earth is in peril.
He's so long.
Okay, that's the end of the trailer. Okay, so we'll do the lore bit first to make it so you get. So I did a video actually way back explaining this in detail for anyone listening, where I looked at the timeline of the Second Age and the events that they're adapting, which occur over the course of about 2,900 years in the Second Age, and they're compressing it into about like a 5-season TV show, right? So,
Yeah.
for example, the forging of the One Ring and the sinking of Numenor are like 1,500 years apart. Okay, in reality, right? So that being said, what happened in the lore is this, right? So Sauron, after the end of the First Age, after the Great War of Wrath, he was brought before the Yanwi, the Herald of Manwe, and told, you have to return to Undying Lands to face the judgment of Manwe, who was the king of the earth, blah, blah, blah. And Sauron actually was briefly repentant and was going to return, but then he feared Manwe's wrath and went into hiding, right? And while he was in hiding, the sort of corruption took hold again, and he embarked on the course we know him from the Second and Third Age. So he disappears for a couple hundred years to build his forces up again. And then eventually he founds the land of Mordor around 1000 in the Second Age. Had nothing to do with the volcano erupting. The volcano was created by Melkor. It was already there. In fact, that's why Sauron put Mordor there, because Melkor had dumped a bunch of his power in the volcano and Sauron wanted to tap it. Plus, Mordor is strategically positioned with mountain ranges on the western and northern side, water on the bottom, and open land to the lands of east, which would be in our modern era, kind of like Central Europe and very Western Asia, which were lands with mortal men who were worshiping Melkor. So that's where the Haradrim and all that. That's where Sauron's men came from, so to speak, right? So he founds Mordor. That's around 1000 of the Second Age. Keeps building up and so forth. Now, Galadriel, she and Celeborn, she senses something evil is building around 300 to 500 of the Second Age, right? So the region that they're in, which is like west of Mordor and east of the mountains that they pass through the Mines of Moria, right? So there's a region there, right? And the southern part of that is what becomes Gondor eventually. And the powers there are what are called the Sindar elves and the Sylvan elves, right? And then the dwarves are all there, and there's some human kingdoms, right? So the Numenorians had not returned to Middle-earth yet. So Galadriel and Celeborn, sensing evil building, organize that area and call it a region, and to defend against this danger she senses coming from the west. Okay, so that sort of loose alliance of powers between the elves in the city she built there, Austin Ed Hill, right? She built the city of Austin Ed Hill. Hard and Celeborn settled there after they get back together because there was some war that separated them, and they organize a region. So then fast forward, to the year, I want to say 1300 of the Second Age, right? All of a sudden, Anatar, the Lord of Gifts, appears. That's Sauron in disguise, that's the image of Sauron you see in this trailer, right? The blonde Sauron, or Halron, as I call him in the show, Halron. And he pretends, he says he's been sent by the Valar to give them knowledge, gifts of knowledge, basically. And he's a master shapeshifter, obviously, and Sauron is incredibly
Right.
intelligent and all that sort of stuff, master craftsman. So first he goes to Region, to Osternet Hill, where Galadriel and Celeborn are, and Galadriel, she is the most powerful telepath who is not one of the Valar or Maiar, so the most powerful human telepath, right? So she senses something is off about Anatar and doesn't trust him, but she doesn't sense that he is Sauron. She can't penetrate that deeply, right? So he leaves and goes west to the part of Middle Earth that would be Western Europe now, where Gil-galad, the last king of the High Elves of the Noldor Elves, has the kingdom of Lindon, and Elrond is his herald, right? So Anatar goes to them, and he's like, "Well, I have all this knowledge the Valar sent me to teach you," and they mistrust him, but they don't know why. So he goes away, and then he goes back to Region, and he foments discord between Celebrimbor, who has made all his forgeries, the forges there in Osternet Hill, and Galadriel. And Celebrimbor basically takes over the city, and Galadriel and Celeborn leave, right? And eventually they wind up in founding Lothlorien. Okay, so now Anatar still is with Celebrimbor and his smiths of his order of the Elven Smiths, and teaches them all sorts of lore, including Linglore, because the elves have been. What's been happening in the Second Age is the world is slowly fading. The magic of the First Age, to keep it simple. The world's becoming mundane. So the elves want to find a way to preserve that and to restore the damage from the wars. So they were thinking of crafting these magical rings to be preservative forces, right? So, but they're trying to invent this ring lore, whereas Sauron, of course, knows the ring lore, and he teaches Celebrimbor and the Elven Smiths all this lore over the course of like 200 years. And eventually they forge the 9 rings for mortal men and the 7 for the dwarf lords, right? So Sauron thinks his master plan is hit. Year 1590 of Second Age, he goes back to Mordor to forge the One Ring. Celebrimbor had started to wise up a bit about him. He had planned to forge the 3 Elven rings, but didn't tell Sauron that. So as soon as Sauron leaves, they jump on and forge the 3 Elven rings, and he and 2 of his smiths basically put them on. Sauron forges the One Ring, 1600 Second Age. As soon as he puts it on, he detects the 3 rings. But because he had never touched those rings himself,
he had no power over them.
Well, he had power because the lore was used in them to craft them. But because he had never touched them himself, the elves who had them on had enough time to take them off before Sauron could use them to dominate their wills. Okay, and so they took them off, and that enraged Sauron. He was furious about that. So he started a war, which was called the War of the Elves and Sauron, primarily against Region and Osternet Hill. Celebrimbor sends the 3 rings to Gil-galad to be hidden. He sends one to Galadriel, and he sends another one to Círdan, the shipwright. Basically, the 2 most powerful elves other than him, right? And he keeps one. But they don't tell them they have them. They just keep them hidden, right? Because they can't use them because Sauron has the One Ring. Meanwhile, in Region, it's a several-year war. Sauron conquers Region, captures Celebrimbor. He captures the 9, the 7, or at least 6 of the 7. There's some lore debates over one of the rings. And tortures Celebrimbor for years to find out where the 3 are, but Celebrimbor never breaks. And eventually, when Sauron used the attack, he has Celebrimbor's corpse on like one of his war wagons leading the army, tortured corpse.
Yeah.
So that's the War of the Elves and Sauron. Now, the Númenórean involvement there was one of the heirs to Númenor, who was a sailor, had been spending a lot of time in Middle Earth with Gil-galad. And once Gil-galad got involved in the War of the Elves and Sauron, that Númenórean prince and his men fought with him, all right, for a long time. And in Númenor, he was getting a bad reputation as a kid, and it caused a lot of strife. Literally, you can make arguments that the amount of time he spent, because he was obsessed with sailing, he didn't even want to be king, right? And because his family got ruined and everything, and you can make an argument that him he wasn't really needed in Middle Earth, but because he stayed away from home and didn't do his duties as king, it created an opening for the corruption to creep into the Numenorians and for the what's called the Kingsmen in Numenor, who were the ones who didn't want to be worship the Eru the One or be friends with the Valar and the Elves, who were jealous of them for their eternal lives and all that. They gradually started gaining power in Numenor over the course of the next 1,000 years, basically, right? And eventually, the kings, the line of kings, became instead of the faithful, the loyal, those who were friends of the elves and the Valar, they switched over to be almost all being the Kingsmen, right? So, but that's like over 1,000 years later, right? So obviously, in this movie, they're compressing it into one shot, right? So, and then to finish the story, so Ar-Pharazôn, who is the king, so when you hear an elven king or a Numenorean king with the name Tar, those are the ones who are elf and Valar friends, right? Because their name is in Quenya. Okay. Whereas when the name is with R, like Ar-Pharazôn, their names are in Westernese, the language of Numenor. Okay, so that's how you know the difference between the Kingsmen and the Loyalists, right? So Ar-Pharazôn, here's the funny thing: Ar-Pharazôn, when he was just Pharazôn, and he wasn't the heir to the throne. His father was Tarmiriel's father. He became king, and he changed his name from Ar whatever back to Tar because he wanted to restore the friendship with the elves and all that stuff. And his brother, however, was the leader of the Kingsmen, but his brother's son Pharazôn was the lore says he was a throwback to the ancient man of Numenor. He was actually a good guy. He was he wanted to be he liked his uncle more than his father and all that sort of stuff, but then Numenorians that by this time had made colonies all across southern Middle Earth. All right. Right. And so he spent a lot of time there and gaining wealth and power. Initially, it seemed for the good, but something happened that corrupted him there that Tolkien never specified. A lot of lore theorists think that Sauron got to him, basically, and he comes back, and whereas he was he had been respected and he treated the loyalists fairly and wanted to return to the Valar. Now he's all in on his father's way, where he wants he wants the immortality and blah blah blah. So when Tarmiriel's father dies, he usurps the throne and forces Tarmiriel to marry him, changes her name to a Western Needle, which is Arzim-Farel, and he's the last king of Numenor, basically. And he considers himself as the king of men. Well, Sauron calls himself the king of men. So that Ar-Pharazôn can't stand for that. So he has this huge armada go to Middle Earth, and Sauron says, my orcs can't beat that army. Mind you, Sauron himself probably could have just destroyed the army solo. You know what I mean? He's not, but he thinks I can use this because he's always thinks cunningly, and he surrenders to Ar-Pharazôn and goes into his custody. And so he goes back to Numenor with him. And over the course of like 9 years, he basically, a lot of us in the fans use the term mind rape because he almost the entire population of Numenor, other than the faithful, those loyal to Eru and the Valar and all that, become hardcore Melkor worshippers engaging in human sacrifice and other debauchery.
Yeah.
Okay. Just 9 years. All it takes Sauron to corrupt a nation of millions, So to the point that now most of the faithful had left Numenor and gone to the mainland by that time. So at the time, just prior to Numenor sinking, okay, in the section called Andúni, where which is where the name Dunedain comes from, basically, where Elendil's father, Menendil is the ruler of Andúni. I'm going to truncate this. There's a lot of cool stuff in there, but truncate we'll get past it. Menendil, how do I put it? Menendil knows the end is coming, so he has Elendil and his sons build these 9 ships and get all the remaining faithful on Numenor onto those 9 ships. They received the prophecy from one of the Valar, Umo, most likely, because he's the one Valar who's always helping people out, right? Even though the Valar's supposed to be isolationist.
Right.
And then Sauron convinces Ar-Pharazôn to lead this huge army, build the greatest army in the history of Middle Earth, and take it to invade the Undying Lands and attack the Valar. Now, no one knows what happened to that army, okay? Because the Valar are actually prohibited from harming elves or men. It's one of the Eru prohibits them from directly harming elves or men, okay?
Right.
So they know that the forces landed at Toleracia, which was the island off the coast of Valinor, which is technically the farthest a man is allowed to go to in the Undying Lands. They're supposed to never go past this. They never. If they see Toleracia, they're supposed to stop there, but they can't go to Toleracia with permission of Valar. And it takes this huge army inland on the Undying Lands, and that's it. They're never heard from again. What we do know is that Eru Yuvatar gets outraged, basically sinks Numenor in a massive cataclysm, and either he or Ulmo make a special wind that saves those 9 ships. 5 of them land in Arnor and 4 in Gondor, or 4 and 5, whatever. Elendil lands in Arnor, founds the kingdom of Arnor. He becomes the High King of Men. Isildur and Anarion, his sons, they become the kings of Gondor, and that's the history of Middle Earth, basically, after that. Right? So that's the real story, right? So now in this trailer, he's becoming, unless I do this is a flashback, he's becoming Anatar after the rings have already been forged.
Right. Which there's no purpose in doing it.
No, I mean
his whole purpose was to forge the rings.
Yeah, but even worse, he still looks like Halbrand. You know, because it's the actor. You know, like if they had got a different actor to play him, I mean, it still would have been stupid to make him Anatar. But the problem is they need Anatar for the Numenorian stuff, right? Because Sauron had the form of Anatar. That's the one punishment when he sunk Numenor. Sauron was actually on Numenor. Eru sunk it, destroyed his body at the time, and then barred him from ever assuming a fair and pleasing form again. So Sauron has to look like Anatar for the Numenorian sinking. You get what I'm saying? So that's why they need him in the show, you know. But to have him not like they have, I don't know if you obviously didn't watch it, which is fine because it's horrible. Like Halbrand shows up in Austin Edhill. Over the course of 2 weeks of time, teaches them all how to forge rings out of alloys, right? And they forged the Elven rings first instead of last without him there.
Yeah. Makes no sense.
So, you know, it's that's stupid alone, you know. Then you get this, then you get some other little stupidities, right? Let's go back.
An evil.
So that's Mount Doom, right?
Evil. Powerful.
Right.
The way they depict it, you can't see Mount Doom from like anywhere in the region. It's actually pretty far away behind a massive mountain range. Now, when you get closer to the border, you can see it because it's big, but you can't see it from where Austin Edhill is.
Prepare yourselves.
And then this,
Prepare yourselves.
I think they're supposed to be using Shelob in one of these scenes, who isn't even born yet.
The worm is his way inside your mind. Let us in.
I think he has been here. I think he's been.
So then you get this, like, it looks like a skull cap. You know what I mean? Not even a wig. It looks like a bad skull cap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And then you get like
Every
well, so that there,
Earth,
right? These type of creatures, they do exist in the Legendarium. There's a whole ocean full of them, but they don't ever have any sort of active role. You know what I mean? They're there, Tolkien writes that they're there, these giant underwater sea monsters. But so you can make the argument, well, maybe you can have like a side adventure where one of them encounters them. That wouldn't be a bad thing to include if this show were halfway decent. Because you know they're in the lore, you know what I'm saying? But no main character, they didn't have any impact on the main story. But you could have them as like an adventure the characters went on or whatever without changing anything.
Soul in Middle Earth.
Now this scene here,
the voiceovers are bad too.
Yeah. So that scene with the crashing there, like the Balrog was not discovered or awoken to the third age, basically. Okay, that's how Moria lasted well into the third age, year 2019, in fact. Okay, which is about 1,000 years before the end of the third age. So they didn't even know the Balrog was hiding down there for that during the second age, right? Of course, Balrog in the show they made the Silmaril and a Balrog have something to do with Mithril, which has nothing to do with, you know. Oh, where is it? The funniest thing. Okay, so this, where is it? There, that. Did you ever see the old AD&D cartoon from like the 1980s?
No.
Let's see if I can find a clip of it. I don't want to spoil it, Jacob, because it's funny.
She has a magic exploding.
Yeah. Everyone wanted this bow from the cartoon. AD&D cartoon. Actually, do I have it? If I have, I could show it to you that way. Animated series. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. No, I haven't been able to find it. I don't think they've ever released it on Blu-ray or DVD. Cartoon bow.
And the black elf dude just explodes out of the wagon.
Yeah. With his ninja power or whatever.
How did he do that?
Do they actually show? I found an episode of it. I'm trying to see if they show the bow in it at all.
The explosion looks good.
Well, I said the people doing the actual background work, like the scenes and whatever.
Oh yeah, they're good.
Yeah, that's all high quality work. It's a shame that it's just being used in this crap. Yeah. I'm not going to go crazy on it, but I can't find not the dragon. I can't find a scene where they use the bow.
Yep.
The whole thing's on YouTube, by the way. It's the D&D cartoon. There's a whole playlist of it on YouTube. But that bow, every one of us who played D&D wanted that bow. We all wanted it. It's like, so, but Galadriel gets it, right?
Yeah.
You could even see the line of where the wig is on him. Oh my God. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Okay. So somewhere in this
got
scene,
the ice.
Yeah.
Where they got the ice thing for Mordor or Sauron, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't either.
Even...
So this is Elrond and maybe Gilgal, but definitely Elrond with Sauron, right? Now in the lore, that's a no match. Sauron would kill him in seconds.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. And yet, how does he possibly get away from this? And for those people out there, Tolkien himself states that Sauron would crush Galadriel too. States that blatantly, So, so they're having what is Sauron going to have, like a sword fight with them or something? It's like. Yeah, so there's a lot of I think Disprove takes an hour and goes frame by frame, breaks it down. I'm not going to do that. I'll do that sort of breakdown when the episodes come out. I gotta watch. So what I do is I do a critique of the episode on its own, right? Then I'll do a separate episode talking about the lore they're violating in it. That's how I did the first season, because I want my critique of the episode to not just be whining about, well, this deviates from the lore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you watch any of the show?
The first one, the first season?
Yeah.
I watched 20 minutes of the first episode of the first season.
Yeah, I mean, if I wasn't doing videos on it and talking with people like you or my friends or whatever about it, I wouldn't have watched it. Yeah. I would have watched one episode and then just mentally checked out. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
But I guess because we have the channels, we have to talk about stuff. It's
I did make plenty of memes for that first season, though.
Oh God, I don't think there are enough memes that exist to humiliate this show. It's like, and the crazy thing about it, and I've told people this before, the very first people, like you know how they're doing this because they want to make the Lord of the Rings more diverse or whatever. The very first people I saw on like YouTube or whatever complaining about it was in an African language YouTube video in Africa with a black dude going off on how this is perverts the Lord of the Rings, like
Yeah.
So it's just crazy. Like, but it's whatever. I mean, this has got to wind its course, and this is actually leading to our next topic in a way. Do you know what Warhammer is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so Henry Cavill is a gigantic Warhammer nerd, right? It's probably his favorite thing ever, And so after The Witcher
Warhammer stuff. So.
Yeah. Oh, cool. What do you got? Like, what are you into?
I recently just got into it, so I just got like 3 Space Marines.
Oh, so you mean you're getting into the models and stuff? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more interested in Warhammer from like the role playing and wargaming part of it, like the mechanics of it. That was my area of interest, But that's cool. It's a cool hobby. I mean, believe me, Anyway, so and you know about the Henry Cavill Witcher debacle, right?
Yeah.
So Cavill's his company gets control of the Witcher, not the Witcher, the Warhammer property, and so he's thinking, okay, I'm a big fan of this. Me and my wife's company have total control over this product and whatever. We're going to do a dedicated, good adaptation. Blah blah blah. Amazon is apparently trying to block him, trying to make him put in female space marines and all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's refusing. He's threatening to leave the project, and they're threatening to say, no, we'll force you to actually, even if you drop the project with your wife's company, we'll force you to star in it, right? Which they don't understand. Like, let's say they force him to star in it, he can still mail in every performance, and when he does interviews, say, I don't plan on watching the show. You can do what you want, and there's nothing they can do about it, right? It's in their quest for this diversity stuff, like, I mean, we know because they're cultists or they're leaders of the cult. They need this stuff. You know what I mean? But
yeah, right.
Yeah. Which leads into our next topic, and this is captured audience, right? So let's share this tab. I don't want to frighten you guys with the image on your screen right now. So I don't know if you're a Doctor Who fan, Jacob, or if you've watched it at all, but
yeah, I have.
Yeah. So they basically did a soft reboot of Doctor Who, with Scooty Gatwa being the new Doctor, right? And the ratings have been steadily declining as the show's gotten more and more woke. And now the ratings got even lower. They're abysmally all-time low ratings. And the actors and RTD are responding, well, the show's not made for other people. So they're making this show for their captured tiny audience, and they're getting away with it because companies like Disney and the BBC are willing to lose money putting this show on because of this niche audience that they think if they keep doing this, all of us will just relent and start liking it.
Yeah, right. No, it's killing it. It's killing it.
Yeah. So I put this article down below. Jinkx Monsoon is the actress and actress, whatever, in the scene there, in the picture there. So you can. That's basically what this Bound Into Comics article goes into about. It's a pretty interesting read, Let's do some sad news. Most of the rest of it is good if sad news in some cases. We talked a little bit about Jacob does a show every Tuesday. He does what's it called, Jacob?
Popcorn Talk,
which is basically where
movies.
Jacob. Oh, so you can go, Jacob. Sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, just talk about movies. Talk about good old movies.
And on this week's Popcorn Talk, we reviewed a movie called Il Grande Silenzio, the Great Silence, which is an Italian masterpiece of the spaghetti westerns. And during that, we mentioned that Roger Corman had passed away. And I plan on talking about this more on my show. So Roger Corman is the king of B movies, basically, or was till he passed away. He is a lot of great movies over the years. We'll just go over to his filmography to just have a quick glance at some of what he did. Roger Corman, and he's done more than crappy horror movies. Basically, if you look at some of the stuff he's done, obviously, you could see the Undead, Teenage Doll, kind of, the Saga of the Viking and the Voyage of the World. Obviously, there's a lot of B grade stuff. No offense, but House of Usher, which is a really good horror film. I love this movie. Last Woman on Earth. Tales of Terror was awesome. I remember that. What?
The House of Usher, I thought was a rapper for the longest time.
Yeah. Well, I saw this as the fall of the House of Usher, right? And, yeah. So, and this stars, here we go, the great Vincent Price, who's probably one of my 5 favorite actors of all time. And it's a very good. It's an adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's The Fall of the House of Usher, obviously. Matheson does mix some stuff in there from other stories, if I recall correctly. I just don't remember all the details. I'm going to want to be watching this movie next week or something because I love it so much. Hell, Richard Matheson could be a whole topic himself.
Yeah.
Between all the stuff he wrote, his notable works. But back to Corman. Producer only, executive producer, TV movies. I probably have seen more than 90% of what his stuff is. The great Deathstalker movie he was a producer on. Those are Barbarian films. Sorcerer. This is all the stuff I watched when I was a kid, And Roger Corman, in my opinion, still has the best Fantastic Four adaptation of all the 5 they've done so far. But great. How many Corman films have you seen, buddy?
I'd have to look at him. I don't.
Actually, this year might be my favorite Corman film, The Raven, with Boris Karloff, Peter Lorre, and Vincent Price.
I've seen some. I just can't place what. I'd have to go through the list.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. I mean, you've watched so many movies.
I have seen Attack of the Crab Monster.
Yeah, I was about to say Attack. I know. I think I have Attack of the Crab Monster somewhere. Let's take a look. See here. It may Attack of the Crab Monsters. No, I don't have it. Maybe I never scanned it in. Okay. She Gods of Shark Reef, man. But in any case, he's. I mean, I normally don't credit the Academy Awards with any sort of they're garbage now, as it used to be something significant. You know what I mean? But did they ever give him a lifetime achievement or anything? So he deserves to have lifetime achievement awards, if not individuals. Oh yeah, Academy Honorary Award at the Honorable Governor's Award. So they did give him some sort of honor, which is good. He deserves it. Okay, so that's I have the Wikipedia and his and the article about his death from Bleeding Fool. Bleeding Fool's a pretty good site, by the way. Link down below. So move over to some. I don't know if this is good news or bad news. Did you finish Shogun yet, Jacob?
Not yet.
So But I mean, I know
Either
you know the story,
go down
so
to it.
obviously a season 2 would not have anything to do with the book because Clavell's book ends where this season 1 ends, so to speak, right? Roughly.
Yeah.
So they would have to now. He does have, from what I recall over the years, that's why they're working with his estate. He does have a lot of notes about the world of his Asian saga because obviously it's parallel history, fictional history and all that.
Hmm.
So presumably he worked out in notes how his fictional characters navigated the muddy waters, maybe similar to how the characters they were drawn from in real life did, if you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So in theory, they could go someplace with this, right? But
Uh-huh.
here's the thing. Right now we have a positive image of Toranaga, and if they follow the Tokugawa Ieyasu's life path, you will not have a positive image of him by the end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I'm of two minds on whether they should continue this or not. Like I always say, better to leave you wanting more than thinking you've given too much, so to speak. And what are your thoughts,
Right.
Jacob, on it?
Uh, they could. I don't know that they. It's almost like what they did with Rings of Power. They only had this small little bit to work with, and it's just notes they're working with here to do a season 2.
Oh yeah, I would much rather them do the other books in this Asian saga.
Yeah, why
Although
not? I mean, you could even cast some of the same people
yeah,
as different characters.
yeah, no reason they couldn't get this guy to play the guy from Taipan, for example. The guy who plays Blackthorn to play the guy in Taipan, who's his descendant,
Yeah.
basically. Now the one thing I am annoyed about, and it continually brings up every time we talk about Shogun, the white savior trope or whatever. They keep ignoring the fact that Blackthorn is based on an actual historical figure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it drives me crazy that they keep. And he wasn't a savior in Japan. He was a big contributor. He with naval knowledge and stuff to Tokugawa Ieyasu's rise. That's what he did there. But I don't know. I mean, Saneda is overseeing the project, so maybe it'll be done fairly well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, I'll watch it, but I have a feeling the third season is where it's going to show where it shouldn't be anymore. You know what I mean? Like we'll get a good second season because it'll be mostly about the war that happens now. If right at the end of the first, which Clavell didn't write about, he just wrote epilogue saying how it ended. They'll have that be the second season. But it's after that we'll get the problem.
Yeah.
And I guess the last article I have prepared. Oh, any final thoughts on this, Jacob, on your own?
They also, when they're making these shows, they're like, they don't think ahead. They only think in what happens next. They don't think like seasons down the line.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So they're not thinking, well, where's this going to go? Where's it going to end up?
Well, they're just thinking, how can we have a hit? Let's make more money on it.
Right.
I mean, like remember the comic book unboxing last week? There was a comic series, an article which I really enjoyed. It was like a science, like a Lovecraftian science fiction type of thing, kind of like Fringe and all. Well, the series did so well that they promoted it to be an ongoing series, and I will continue to read it for a while. But my initial thought was, oh my God, like, no, they're going to ruin it. Self-contained, it's a complete story. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But because you just have that, you don't want to see something that's really good ruined. You know?
Yeah.
As much as we desire to see more of stuff, I'd rather see,
Doesn't
I
mean
said
it's
before.
good.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather see no more of stuff if it's going to suck.
Yeah.
Then, so my last article prepared, and then we'll do a few randies and stuff like that. So this show really didn't get the chance it deserved. I'll share the tab out. That'll help, right? I don't know if you watched the Superman and Lois TV show or not, Jacob.
No, I've heard a lot about it.
It is far and away the best. I mean, it's better than Supernatural. That's saying something for me. It was the best CW TV show ever. It is probably, depending on how this fourth season goes, the best Superman series ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is. I was amazed. Like there's a little bit of diversity in there, type of stuff, but nothing crazy, And unlike this other show, like for example, they bring John Henry Irons in, an actual black superhero, rather than turn another guy who was not black. You know what I mean? So
yeah, right.
Like,
that's good.
Real diversity and not fake diversity, And I think that's why the fans love it, because Superman's universe before they wrecked it with DEI is actually really diverse. Has real diversity in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So does every other existing story out there, pretty much.
Yep. Now, for those who are watching, because of the reduced budget, they've basically made a lot of the recurring stars guests in some episodes to save on budget, and only like Superman and Lois and their two kids and one other character, Lex Luthor, are regulars for the whole season, right? So it's basically going to be Superman versus Lex as the final season, Now, it is going to Netflix, and there's a chance that there may be a Netflix pickup, right? Because if it's popular, I'm of two minds on that, Like, did you ever watch the show? What the hell was it called? It was a modern Western show. Katie Sackhoff was in it. It was about the main character. It was a dude. I'll get it from Katie Sackhoff's.
The only one I can think of is that Hell on Wheels. Was that?
No, you had to have heard of this. I'll go Katie Sackhoff's filmography. Will get it for me. Longmire.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So the
modern Western.
Yeah. So the first three scenes of Longmire are gold. I mean, they have the cast is great. You have what's his face? Robert Taylor is Longmire. Kay Sackhoff is the deputy. Lou Diamond Phillips, who all of my friends call La Bamba because he was in La Bamba, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He played a really cool character in there. Those are the three main characters. So when Netflix extended it by 2 seasons, like the first season 5, right, was really good.
Right.
But then season 6, in my opinion, they ruined it by making Kay Sackhoff, who was like a daughter to him, become his lover.
Yeah. That was weird.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, that happens in the book.
Maybe, but like
from what I've heard.
Yeah, it could, but maybe in the book though, they don't make her seem like a daughter for like the first, I don't know how many novels,
Yeah. It's just definitely a weird flip.
Yeah. And also the novels of the Walt Longmire Mysteries. Let's see how many there are. There are 10 books in the series. Okay.
And then the daughter's running for sheriff.
Yeah. She's a good actress too. The actress' name is Cassidy something.
But that character is always getting into trouble.
Yeah. Have you read the books?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. And in fact, Cassidy Freeman, who plays the daughter, was a really cool character in Smallville. She played Tess Mercer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's Lex Luthor's right-hand man, who's a woman. If you ever watch the Superman the animated show, Tess Mercer is his limo driver / his like left hand who does all his dirty deeds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
she's a fan favorite character, and and she was played really well by Freeman. Smallville was one of the weird shows where it did a bunch of things really good and a bunch of things really horrible. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
It's a long thing to get into. I get that. Like, if you ever try like the first 3 seasons and the last 3 seasons, and then what I say to watch to everyone, you know. But anyway, she was in that. She's been in a bunch of good stuff, you know. Yeah. And so talking about the Western. So again, Netflix with the 6th season was what a lot of fans didn't like, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
those are my prepared stuff. Before I go looking around for my random articles, Jacob, you have anything you want to talk about?
Yeah. There's a upcoming Netflix anime. It's Terminator, but
Oh, I
it's
saw.
set in Japan
Is
with
there a
different set
trailer
of
for it yet?
characters and stuff. No, not yet. Just a teaser trailer, and it just shows images, not actual
Let's see if we can
motion.
grab it via Twitter. Terminator.
Called Terminator Zero.
Zero. Oh, interesting. So the left is Terminator Zero, right? And the right is Baby Metal's Distortion album.
The artwork from it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks at the animation style looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks like the Akira style.
It
Yeah,
could. It reminds me.
Pull that photo up of the Terminator from the side view.
This one?
Kind of purpley looking. Yeah.
Great detail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, the detail work reminds me of the Star Blazers 2199 animation too. You know, obviously this is computer animated artwork, not hand drawn, which is fine. If done well, I'm fine with it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful looking picture. Okay, so here, Bleach character designer Masashi Kudo is directing Terminator Zero. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so the storyline is they send a like in the other Terminators, they send a soldier back, but it's to Japan, where there's a guy that's working on a rival to the Skynet AI.
Yeah, there's been there's a lot of Terminator like comics and whatever. I've read that in some Terminator comic. How Skynet had rivals at one point. Here's some artwork from the.
And there's the time machine.
Yeah. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it does.
Let's go back here. You know what anime I watch? I've been we talked last week. Kaiju number 8.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it's basically set in a world where kaiju were running rampant. So Japan, they have their kaiju defense squad with super technology, and this one dude is kind of a reject from it. So, but one night he gets a baby, like a micro kaiju goes inside him and transforms his body into giving him like where kaiju powers. We could turn into a kaiju, you know, and so it sounds zany like a lot of anime. The serious side of it is pretty good, right? The humor is a little bit too much, but it's gotten less bothersome as I've gotten to the 5th episode. So, if maybe I could play a little clip of it. Okay. Media anime series. Oh, I got the second season of Starblade Sword scanned in. The third season has not been released on Blu-ray yet. For those who are following that. Let's see if I can find a cool shot.
So yeah, that the Terminator thing got me watching the old other movies, even the 1984 one. That one holds up. Even
1984.
The 1984 Terminator, the Terminator.
You mean wait? You mean the original? Oh, you say okay. Oh, the original is an all-time great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. Now this I have to mute, otherwise I'll get zonked. So this is a cool look. So this is a serious battle scene from Kai. So I mean, I look at the detailed facial expressions, So
Yeah.
but that I love when I just visually to me is good. The humor is a little over the top to me, but the visuals are good.
Yeah.
Well, since you ask or mention it, I'm going to see if this has anything to do with Attack on Titan. The animation, at least.
And Attack on Titan was dark.
Yeah, anime. Yeah, I never got into Attack on Titan. I watched the first season. I kind of forced myself to finish it. It just seemed a little, I don't know. It seemed like they had deliberate low technology on purpose or whatever. And
Yeah,
okay, so
it's weird. Like halfway through it, I think the last season of it like flips to there's like two factions in it. One is in control of this island that they're on, and then the other it like flips to the other people's point of view. It's odd.
Okay, so
and they're more technologically advanced.
Yeah, but here's what I remember from the first season, right? Like they had technology in their lives, but not in their military. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, like, why don't they apply some of that technology to the military and start blowing up these Titans?
I mean, they do
Anyway,
have canon and stuff like that, but
Studio Kara is one of the studios working on Kaiju number 8. They've done television like the Dragon Dentist, OVA work, nothing heard of. Animated films, Evangelions 1, 2, and 3. Live action, they worked on Shin Godzilla, Shin Ultraman, Shin Kamen Rider, So they have some pretty good work at that one studio. And Production IG, let's see what they've done. Oh, Production IG, Blue Seed, Parappa the Rappa, Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, which is one of the TV shows.
Okay.
Ghost in the Shell. Blood Plus, which is actually okay. Not great, but okay. It would help if I share, right? I'm just reading stuff to people. I'm getting used to this, Jacob, this live thing,
Yeah. Someday
I won't be a noob and all,
I still feel like a noob sometimes.
Yeah. So this is Production IG. They're the company, all right? So there's Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. I would mention that. Blood Plus, which was pretty good. Blood Sea was well animated. It was just a really stupid plot, But you get that with anime, you know what I mean? Like they can have the greatest animation in the world, but the plot is horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, Attack on Titan Junior High School.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. It's probably
It's
some
weird.
Attack on Titan spinoff. FLCL, they've done some of the
Yeah.
FLCLs. Yeah.
I think that one's like set in junior high.
Yeah.
Weird spinoff.
And here's some of the OVAs they've done, you know. Batman Gotham Knight. ONAs. Here's some of the films. Pat Labor. Okay, there we go. I know that now. Ghost in the Shell, obviously. Neon Genesis Evangelion, obviously. Blood the Last Vampire is a really, really good. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Jacob. It's probably one of the top 5 favorite anime movies.
Okay. I'll check
Oh,
it out.
in Kill Bill Volume 1, they did the animated chapter.
Oh, huh.
Yeah. Every time I see like a letter to Momo, I see Momo and I think Avatar, the little monkey.
Yeah. Momo.
They did a lot of good stuff, this company. Yeah. So
Yeah,
okay.
looks like it. What's the name of the company?
Studio Production IG.
Okay.
And let's just get a couple random articles. If you have anything to talk about, just mention. Otherwise, I'm just going to do my random 3 to 5
Okay.
articles, and then we'll call it. You know. Now, do you remember this game? Lollipop Chainsaw.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it. I didn't play it.
I thought it was hilarious because they made this game solely to capitalize off of fan service, right? So, and we as fans were like, sure, we'll do it, we'll pay for it. You know what I mean? Like, and they don't. Sometimes when you're a gamer, you just want to have that relaxing, fun, like turn your brain off game. You know what I mean? And a
Yeah.
hot looking cheerleader running around with a chainsaw cutting zombies in half. That's pretty much a good
Yeah.
enough fantasy. You know, I mean, what else is gonna do that, right? So. I just thought it was hilarious. Like, and then now they're trying to So the producer's like, yeah, we have the same feeling about censorship as you do. So their reanimation of it is probably going to be decent quality, and all the blue-haired weirdos will bitch about it. You know.
Yeah.
Let me title. Kill la Kill creator defends fan service in anime. If you make the work completely sterile, people's immunity will be weakened and they will all die. I haven't watched Kill la Kill and I should. People tell me I like it. It's one of those fan service at the core of anime. Oh, I want to talk about this. I just forgot to link to it. So you know, I think the previous record for online piracy was Game of Thrones. Godzilla -1 has busted that record.
Really, for being pirated?
Yeah, because they released it. The only release of it so far is to a Japanese streaming service. So everyone is basically either getting VPN and signing up to the Japanese streaming service, or just downloading it outright. So when this thing
Yeah.
drops on Blu-ray over this summer, I believe, this thing is going to make bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you seen it yet?
If it's subtitles, I have to pay attention. So
I can help you
I
out with
still
that,
have it on
Jacob.
my list.
If you want to see it, just let me know and I can help you navigate the high seas, so to speak. You know. Yeah. Because I mean, I'm disabled. But people don't know I'm disabled. So until the Blu-ray comes out, my only way to see it is by sailing the high seas. So it's like, but I think that's kind of fun, you know. And then let's see, Collider. Nothing great hopping off there. you've seen an article you want to talk about, Jacob, while I'm doing the rant, I got my 2 random articles. I want to get maybe 1 or 2 more. 4:15. I like that this show is between an hour and hour and a half. It feels good to have a nice little short roundup of news, talk opinion, do an unboxing, chit chat with you, Jacob. If anyone else comes on, we do some chit chat, and you know what I mean. I don't know that I ever want to do like a 7-hour Friday Night Tights or whatever. That you know.
Yeah, that'd be rough. I've watched a little bit of that X-Men 97.
Yeah, is it as woke as they say?
No, I don't think. I mean, that photo of Gambit in that T-shirt went around. You know, he kind of looks.
Well, the
gay
big thing was this scene here: the Wolverine and Morph with the non-binary Morph, and Wolverine's secret gay relationship or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
They said it's in the last episode that it shows up.
Oh, okay.
And we just talked
he's
about
not a
this.
woman, so they can't make him gay.
Rings of Prime season trailer has over 400,000 dislikes.
Yikes!
Yeah.
No.
Geek Town. I guess that's the news everywhere.
You know they're having a 28 years later movie.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan. I like 28 Days Later. I thought it was okay.
Yeah,
28 Weeks Later, is that the one where the dude from Stargate Universe is a douche at the beginning?
right.
Where he
turns
his own,
into one of them.
no, his family is being eaten by the zombies or whatever, and he runs away rather than help them.
Well, he had his 2 kids, and his wife was stuck upstairs in a house. So it was, save the wife, lose all your family, or save your kids.
Yeah, that's the one. I like 28 Weeks Later better than 28 Days Later. Later. So I'll probably I didn't know. Again, Matt didn't share the stream. There we go. So I will probably, with regards to this movie, not this. Where did the tab go? Share this tab. Backspace. There we go. Okay. Did it work? Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. I must have double backspace, and that's why I couldn't find the tab. Anyway, so I'll probably watch this, but reluctantly. You know what I mean? Going into expecting it to be bad and being surprised if it's good, type of thing.
Right.
And Dread Central. What? They stopped doing their top 10 list? Oh my God. They made an Evil season 4. This show, I loved the first season of it. And then I still haven't watched the second or third season. It's a horror TV show, right? About people who investigate the supernatural and all that, to keep it simple. And I keep thinking, I was going to watch the second season, and I heard the third season sucked. Then someone told me the third season was actually good, so I went, let me go back and watch second and third season. Then it was canceled, so I'm like, I really want to watch something I know would be canceled without an ending. But now there's a fourth season, so So the fourth season's the final season, so I will watch it, right? Yeah. I got something we could check out, Jacob. I think there's a trailer for it. Over to the Twitter. From teaser trailer. TV show. Okay, here we go. So, unfortunately, their trailer is going to be on YouTube, which means I'll have to stop and start. Did you watch? I don't know. Do you watch horror TV, Jacob?
No, not really.
Okay. So in any case,
I've watched
so I'll,
X-Files and Fringe, that kind of stuff.
yeah, I'll cut it short. But this show from it is probably the
Oh
best
yeah,
horror.
I've heard of this. Yeah.
Yeah, probably the best horror TV show. Now, because their trailer's on YouTube, I'm not going to play it. I watched it already. Because I've so far so good with the trailers on Twitter. It's been like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah, if you can find them on there.
yeah, yeah. But it's coming back. Oh, did you watch Outer Range?
No, I haven't.
It's kind of like a modern Western sci-fi horror type thing.
Yeah.
Well, they did season 2 just dropped, so I got to watch that. Other than that, I mean, okay. Last random article search, and then share this tab. Okay, well, round and round they go. Where we stop? Hollywood Reporter. Yeah, we don't need that. Okay. So this is leading somewhere. Now, I have not liked any of these modern Planet of the Apes films, but this dude, Kevin Durand, is probably one of my 10 favorite TV actors right now. Now, I know you're not big on horror, Jacob. There was an adaptation of The Strain, which is a vampire novel, which was a pretty good TV show. He was in it. He played a rat catcher, basically, who wound up become a vampire hunter. And then he was in this really good horror film. Oh, what was it called? Google. Filmography. Where is it? Dark Was the Night. It's an almost perfect horror movie. I'll say it. The stinger ending, like I don't watch the stinger ending because I know what's coming. I just stop the movie right there, and it's a great movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you ever saw the movie Legion, which is a decent sort of angel apocalypse movie, he played Gabriel in that. Even in bad stuff, Kevin Durand's a really good actor.
Yeah. I've seen him in something, but I can't place what. I mean, I recognize him.
Well, he was in X-Men Origins. He was the Blob.
Oh, the Blob. Yeah.
3:10 to Yuma.
Okay. Yeah.
He played Tucker.
Yeah.
So he's really good in a lot in everything he does, basically. In
Robin Hood.
This Robin Hood film, he was Little John.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott's one of the beginning. Was this the beginning of the end for Ridley Scott? Let's see.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad movie, but yeah, it was close to him going off the.
So we should do a Ridley Scott show, Jacob.
Yeah.
So so let's just go down the list though. If you haven't seen it, that's fine. But have you seen The Duelist?
Is that the John Wayne?
No.
No.
The Duelist stars Harvey Keitel, Keith Carradine, Albert Finney. Basically the premise is it takes place in like post-medieval Europe, maybe 17th century.
Oh yes.
And
I know
two
the
guys
movie you're
have these
talking about,
duels throughout their entire life. The plot's okay. The duels are great. Yeah. I think we both agree Alien's a great movie, right?
Yeah.
So he's 2 for 2. Blade Runner, great movie. 2 for 3. I think Legend's a great movie. So 4 for 4. I don't know if are you on 4. Are you 4 for 4 too, Jacob?
Yeah. I mean, it was good. It's not my thing, but it's good.
Yeah. So again, I remember this movie so much to watch over. I remember liking it. So I'm a 5 for 5 so far.
Don't know that one.
Okay. So I'm 5-0. Jacob is 4-0-1. Black Rain, I love this movie.
Yeah, that was an interesting movie.
Yeah. So I'm 6-0. Are you 5-0-1, Jacob now?
Yeah, the 5.
Thelma and Louise.
Haven't seen it.
This is the first movie of his I disliked, but not because it's feminist. I really don't like Susan Sarandon as an actor. Okay, I like
Yeah,
Gina Davis a
me
lot. I just can't stand Susan Sarandon. So I become. This makes me 6-1-0. I think you haven't seen it, so it makes you 5-0-2. Now I got to write that down because I'm going to lose track of that. And guys, I'm doing this because there's a point to this. You'll see when we get more than halfway through this list. There's a point to it. Okay, so M is I'm 6-0 and 6-0-1. I said no 6-1-0. Thelma and Louise. So 7. So that's through 7 movies. And Jacob is 5-0-2. Okay, so the 8th movie is 1492 Conquest of Paradise.
Haven't seen that.
So Jacob is now 5-0-3. That's my first one I haven't seen. So I'm 6-1-1. I've seen parts of it. I have not seen the whole thing. So I can't make a judgment on it. White Squall.
No, I haven't seen that one.
So Jacob at movie number 9 is 5-0-4. I am 6-2-1. So I didn't like that one. G.I. Jane. I
hate that movie.
I hated it. That's a 6-3-1 for me. Jacob hated, so he's a 5-1-4. Movie number 11, Gladiator.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
7. So I'm 7-3-1. Jacob is 6-1-4. Right. Hannibal. I enjoyed Hannibal.
I haven't seen that one. I
So
watched
I'm 8.
First one.
I am 8-3-1. Jacob is 6-1-5. Black Hawk Down is an awesome movie to me. It's
great movie.
I call Black Hawk Down the extended edition the greatest war movie of all time.
Yeah.
So 7-1-5 for Jacob, 9-3-1 for me. Matchsticks Man. This is one of the few Nicolas Cage movies I liked.
Haven't seen it.
So I'm 10-3-1. Jacob is 7-1-6. 15. Kingdom of Heaven.
Seen it. Mixed feelings.
Have you seen the extended director's edition?
No.
So I will qualify this by saying the theatrical edition sucks. The extended edition is arguably his best movie. So this becomes an 11.
Really?
Yeah. 11-3-1 for me. And Jacob, do you want it to be a like, dislike, or not seen?
I'd give it I guess I'd give it a like, because there's aspects of it I like.
Yeah, but if you have a chance, see the extended edition. It's amazing. A good year. I remember liking this film, but not loving it.
Is that where he goes to Italy and has a vineyard or something? Or goes to Italy?
Uncle Henry's Vineyard in Provence in southern France.
Yeah.
France.
It was okay.
So that's number 16, right? I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16. So I'm 12-3-1. Jacob is 9-1-6. Now, so far, you've noticed, I am 4-1 like to dislike. Jacob is 9-1 like to dislike with a bunch he hasn't seen, right?
Right.
American Gangster.
I haven't seen it.
So that's Jacob becomes 9-1-7. 17. That I dislike that one for 12-1-1. Body of Lies.
Who's in that?
Leonardo DiCaprio, Russell Crowe, Golshifteh Farahani. Anti-terrorist police team press out of Manchester, England, as the members of the team enter terrorists inside that. I didn't see this one.
No, I haven't seen it.
So 8. So this is number 18, and that makes me 12-4-2. Jacob is 9-1-8. Okay, Prometheus. I feel like we're going to agree with this 100%.
Yeah,
I dislike this one
like
a lot. 12-5-2. 9-2-8. So this is your second dislike, okay? The Counselor.
Haven't seen it.
Did I see this one? No. So that makes me 12-5-3. Jacob is 9-2-9. Exodus, Gods and Kings.
Haven't seen it. It looked bad.
I hated this movie. And I wanted to like it so bad, and I hated it. So I'll put Jacob as a 9-2-10. So it just did not see. So that was 20-21. Notice the trend of all these movies in the past 10 years, 12 years. You know what I mean, Jacob? You see the trend?
Yeah, it starts dropping off.
So now we're up to movie number 22, which is The Martian. I love this movie so much. I watch it every couple of months.
Haven't seen it. I'll put it on my list.
Yeah. 3 is 9, 2, and 11. This is his last great movie, The Martian. Alien Covenant was horrible.
I saw half of it. Horrible.
And we're up to The Last Duel. I hated this movie.
Haven't seen it.
So 9, 3, and 12. House of Gucci. I hated this movie.
Hadn't seen it.
Napoleon was horrible.
Heard it was horrible. Didn't see it.
Do you want me to put you down as a not seen or horrible?
Horrible. Because the reason some of those I've not seen is because I've heard they're crap. So
yeah. So okay.
And
so
Gladiator 2.
I expect that to be horrible.
That.
So
yes, me too.
So through, let's say, the first 17 movies, right? I am 12-4-1. Jacob is 9-1-7, right? And I'm fairly sure of there's a couple you haven't seen that you would like. You know, like we talked about. Let's see, you
Martian.
didn't see Someone to Watch Over Me. I'm fairly sure you would like that film. You know, or you get what I'm saying. However, once we get past number 17, I go from 12-4-1 at the end, 13, 10 dislikes and 3 not scenes. And you jump to 13 liked, 4 disliked, and 13 not seen, but many of those not seen because you heard they were bad. You know?
Yeah.
So, and now let's go to his main film. I like his main filmography, which really has his production movie he was a producer on. And we could probably do the same sort of thing with these movies too. You know what I mean? Where all these bad producers, you know what I'm saying? So the gist of it is Ridley Scott probably should have retired. I would say after The Martian.
Yeah, before he started sniffing his own farts.
Yep. Now Alien Romulus is coming out. Everyone says that's going to be really good, but he's only a producer, not a
Yeah, yeah.
So
I wouldn't. Yeah, he's just a producer. I wouldn't put his stamp on that. Yeah, I just can't wait for another trailer.
I don't know. I'm down on like.
I mean, I don't want him to show too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I think their first trailer should just be their only trailer going into it.
Yeah, I could see that. So that's my last article. Ridley Scott, the Ridley Scott decline into oblivion, as I'll call it.
Yes.
What did the Kurgan say? Well, it's from Highlander, but the quote's older.
Yeah, better to burn out than to fade away.
Fade away. Yeah. So that's been the show, folks. We did an hour and a half with our guest this week, Jacob Ironside. Jacob, maybe we already talked about, but just to cap it off, tell everyone about yourself and your show and all that.
Yeah, I run a show on channel Jacob Ironside. I will be on this evening with Potato Raven talking Two Towers, and then my show on Tuesday will be at 2 p.m. An earlier time slot, and be talking Dial M for Murder, and then I will be on the Gourd King talking what was it? Howl's Moving Castle. So that's what I got coming.
What time does he do his shows?
8 Eastern, I think.
And Tuesday 8 Eastern.
Yeah, Tuesday 8 Eastern.
Wait a minute. Oh, don't you do a show on Tuesdays 8 o'clock?
Yeah, I do it at 7. So.
Oh.
Wait. No, he does. I'm sorry. I think it's 9 Eastern. He does his. I can't remember.
Yeah, that I might try to like work my schedule on so I could stay up for it, because I usually lay down after, like when we do, like when I'm on your evening show or Roman's evening show, I usually go lay down right after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if not, then I'm usually laying down before that a little bit just to control the swelling of my body. And you have your Saturday show once a month, you said, right?
Yeah. Last Saturday of the month. Yeah. You should get a TV put on your ceiling so you can lay down and watch.
Well, I have a 4K monitor basically as a TV in my bedroom. There have been times I've been on some of these shows broadcasting from my laptop, and you just don't see my face. You know what I mean? I'm laying on my bed watching on the big TV. You know, but usually I manage it around. I don't want to lay in bed all the time. You know. So.
Yeah. It's good to move around.
Yeah. What do I got coming up? I keep saying I'm going to do it, so I am going to do it. I'm going to review I got to do my review for Horatio Hornblower RN from 1953, the Gregory Peck film. I will get back to Sharp. So over this weekend, I'll probably do both of those. Next episode of Sharp, which is season 4, episode 1. Oh, remember I told you I found some old TV shows, Jacob?
Mm-hmm. Like
from the 70s. So I was watching the first episode of The Fantastic Journey, and I was shocked how good it was. Shocked. Like unbelievably, it was like, granted, it's 1970s special effects. I'm not going to say it's, but the level of writing it's a sci-fi with a touch of horror in it, time travel thing, and the first episode is great. So I was shocked how good it was. So I might be doing a review of that. It's only 10 episodes. So I might be doing a review of that. It'd be like reviewing a miniseries. I think Roman's back next week, so I'll probably be on his show. That's so. Thursdays, 8 o'clock. I just did a questionnaires yesterday. The questionnaires we talked about. We tend to break down some of this woke stuff, these woke things related to Lord of the Rings or Wheel of Time or whatever. but this was actually a pretty good presentation by. We think he snuck something in to a woke Lord of the Rings conference. He snuck in actual good presentation, Jacob, and it was about how in the Soviet era translations of Lord of the Rings, how they had to censor them, and they produced the artwork for the censored books. How it was really a sort of subtle way of criticizing the censorship. So that was pretty good. But we go on a wide range of topics when we talk about that stuff. So I did that. I did your show. We talked about the Great Silencio, El Gran Silencio, or the Great Silence. That's a great Italian, great spaghetti western. And obviously next week we'll be back on Friday Fandemonium. Give Jacob a second to say his goodbyes, and then we'll go off for the week. I don't see anyone popping up in chat, so maybe no one's going to listen live this week. Perfectly fine with that. I hope you all stay safe out there and have a great weekend. Well, Jacob is probably on a phone call, so I'm going to end the show. All you have a great weekend. Live long and prosper. Rock on. Next week, there'll be some music talk on the show about Arion and Nightwish in particular. I'm going to try to get hold of Blue Oyster Cult's new album. I think it came out. So, anyway, I am out of here.